really cut last time or when it was really long, because I've had it both ways. Like I
What?
had some really long dreads and then I had some really short hair.
You had dreads?
Yes, they were very well. No, I wouldn't say very long. I would just say they were like down here. They were
Hey,
like
where you at right now?
in our little makeshift gym.
Oh, okay, what's on the wall right there?
Okay, so on the wall we just have a bunch of guys' jerseys. I'm more tuned with the baseball guys. So like we have Barry
Yeah.
Bonds here. We have my dad's. They gave him like a memorial jersey kind of thing.
Oh, that's tight. For
So they gave
2,000
him for
hits?
2,000 hits. Yeah,
That's
and
tight.
then I believe I'm not sure what this one's for, but I think it might have been for like home runs or something like that, like momentous moments.
Gotcha.
We have Randy Moss. I'm not sure whose jersey this is because I don't know the number on the back of it. But
I got you. So it's just hanging on the wall?
Yeah.
Is that Mike Vick over there in the corner? I see that.
Oh yes, Michael
Is that
Vick.
signed? That's tight.
Yeah. Then we have Ken Griffey and
Yeah, buddy.
Tom Gordon.
All right.
Yeah, so we have that.
That's tight, man.
This was a garage, so
Yeah. Can you see me okay? I feel like I'm kind of dark, but I'm good.
no, I can see you fine.
All right, sweet. All right, man. So you worked out with your brothers earlier?
Yeah, we worked out a little bit earlier.
What'd you guys do?
Today we worked upper body and core, so we just mainly focused on we focused heavy on shoulders today, really just trying to get our core strength up.
Yeah, that's cool.
It wasn't too heavy of a day, and then we just worked on speed, so we did a bunch of sprints outside. So like my brothers posted a bunch of videos on their Instagrams of us running, but yeah, so I mean we just really it was a light day today, but we worked upper body.
Can you turn the camera around and show me what kind of setup you got?
Yeah. It's double tap to twister, right?
I think so. I think if you just there you go.
Ooh, okay, hold on.
Yeah, if you just touch the screen, then I think there's a button.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, you got some kettlebells. I see you.
Yeah, we got it all set up.
Plyo balls. Okay.
Yeah.
This is your garage?
Filled with bands. Yeah.
Oh, that's tight. Here's your box jumps. Okay.
Yeah, so this whole like cooler right here is just filled to the brim with bands.
What are you guys gonna do with so many bands?
I don't know. They're always like breaking, doing things like that. So it's just we have so many bands from over the years from when my dad played that we just have stockpiles of bands.
I got you.
Like at this point, we have random bands that we have no idea what they're for.
Why don't you go ahead and flip the screen back around and then take me? You want to head over to your room and then kind of sit down and we can get started on the podcast?
Yeah.
All right. So while you're walking to your room, I'll just go ahead and start the podcast. Welcome everybody to episode 3 of the Prospect Dugout podcast. I am joined by Jaden Sheffield, 2021 from Tampa, Florida. Uncommitted right now, but I don't know. Jaden, talk to me about. Are you looking at any schools right now? What's on your radar?
Right now I'm looking at a few different schools, and I've gotten a few different offers. But for like the bigger schools, I was supposed to send in some SAT scores, send in some different things that obviously are getting a little bit messed up right now with this whole outbreak.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm just kind of waiting for the right opportunity to commit to a school.
I gotcha.
It's kind of been like it's been an uncomfortable situation right now because
I
needed to send in some scores that I'm not really sure how it's going to play out.
Right. Do me a favor. Try to keep your face in the middle of the screen because when this goes to video, when this goes to video podcast, it shrinks the screen. So I don't want to just get the little Cheetos on the top. All right, so you're waiting a little bit. Okay, so you mentioned what's going on right now, coronavirus, dude. We're like in the midst of it. The governor of Florida, which is where we're both at, just today announced that everybody's supposed to stay at home for a month, right? So starting at midnight tonight, Thursday, April 2nd, Everybody's staying home. So how has coronavirus affected you? Obviously, you're in Florida, so the high school season is done for now. But just tell me a little bit about what's been going on with you guys.
For us, we just try to get on a field. Well, beforehand, we would try to get on a field almost every single day. Just be on a field, working on baseball, just being like in cages, working out, doing different things, just to kind of fine tune our game. But it's been kind of tricky to find places that are still open. It's kind of tricky to find like wide open spaces that we can really work like we want to. But luckily, we have like a nice little patch where we can work on fielding, we can work on throwing, but we're not really like it's not huge enough where we could long toss, or it's not
Right.
big enough where we could like long toss like that. But we have a net that we've kind of used as a long toss net, I guess.
Yeah, I got you. No, that makes sense. That's what I used to do, man. I didn't have anybody to throw with, so just side of a batting cage or something like that. I mean, you just got to simulate it. Sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, I have 3 brothers in the house right now, so we always have somebody to throw with. We're just gonna throw short distance, work on some mechanics, things like that.
y'all with all those guys in the house, y'all making any TikToks? What are you doing? Not getting on
I know
TikTok
my
yet?
brothers. Not yet. They're trying to convince me to do it. I wasn't really big into it, but I know that
I
my older
mean,
brother and my younger brothers have been into it. So
I'm sure
I
your
don't know.
older brother's definitely into it. I can see that.
Oh yeah, he's definitely into it. It's he's been trying to convince me for a while now. I think it's kind of funny. I haven't
I
even
got you.
downloaded the app yet.
Dang, man. All right. All right. So let's get into. Actually, before we, let's get into a couple questions about you. Okay. Do you have any of your like baseball equipment in your room right now? Like your bat, glove, cleats, anything like that? Because I just want to kind of ask you about that.
Well, I'm like baseball equipment. I have like a little one-hand bat.
Where's your glove and your bat and everything? Is that back in the garage?
Yeah, for like the most part, most of my gear is in the garage, but I do have like multiple gloves in my room.
All right, so tell me your outfielder, right? So tell me what glove do you use? What's your go-to brand?
Go-to brand would definitely be Rawlings. Rawlings is always the go-to brand for baseball gloves. Like, just I have
I got you.
Rawlings everywhere, but specifically the H-Web.
Why the H-Web?
I feel like it has a better pocket. It's a little bit more breathable. Like when you're, well, not breathable, but more when you're running. It's a little bit more fluid when you're running. Like I like the lack of drag per se. So when I'm running, it doesn't really restrict me. It kind of goes like right through those pockets, and it has that nice wide open pocket when you're trying to field.
Okay. What kind of bat you swinging? Metal bat.
So metal bat, I was actually swinging the Meta Prime, which I believe got banned.
Yeah, I got called back.
But the good thing about that was I swung a 34, which did not get banned.
Okay.
So I've been able to swing my bat perfectly fine, and it's an amazing bat.
Is that the bat you've always swung, the Louisville, or have you been a different brand guy?
I mean, I'll mainly stick with Marucci or Louisville. So it's been Times or it's been the Cats. So,
dude, you're a pacer. You're walking around in circles, and you're literally walking around in circles.
I'm reorganizing stuff. I don't know.
You're a multitasker. You're a multitasker.
Yeah.
So what brand cleats do you wear? Nike or Under Armour?
It just really depends because I know for my school we have to wear a certain brand. So for our school it's Nike. For any other, I'll either stick with Adidas or New Balance.
Okay. Do you wear shades on the field, or are you?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Shade and eye black or no?
Eye black, no.
Okay.
I'm an Oakley enthusiast.
I got you. What model do you wear? Just the M frame or the radars? Okay.
The radars for sure.
All right. Quick little break. I gotta mention our sponsor for today's podcast, which is Plate Crate. It's a monthly subscription box of baseball gear. Since we're talking about gear, I figured I'd mention it. Baseball gear, equipment, new little things that you'd use to train and get better with each month. And then they just announced that they're doing. They just released position specific, so you can get a pitcher crate, a outfielder crate, a hitter's crate, speed crate. That's just a one-time purchase. You don't have to buy the recurring, and you can get yours by going to www.platecrate.com. So, Jaden,
Look who decided to stop in.
oh, Mr. Sheffield, what's up, buddy?
He says,
How
"What's
you
up?"
doing?
I'm gonna try to take my headphones off and put them on speaker so you can hear him.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're in the middle of a podcast.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Wait, hold on. Can you hear him?
I can hear you.
What's
Okay.
up, man?
Can you hear me? What's up, Mr. Sheffield? How you doing?
I'm good. What's happening?
I'm chilling, man. What you up to?
Looking at this knucklehead.
You on lockdown, man. How you gonna handle that with the 3 boys in the house?
Hey, I don't even know how I'm gonna do it, man. Especially this knucklehead right here.
Hey, he got his workout in today, though. I like that.
Hey,
Taking initiative.
Hey, you see the beard, right?
Yeah, I saw that, and the little fro he's got going on.
He's 6 foot now. Just measured him.
Is that that's with the hair? Without the hair, he's not 6 foot.
Yeah, he's 6 foot.
Oh, okay.
With the hair, I might be like 6'1".
Okay.
So now I'm like an honest 6 foot instead of the round up.
Hey, just to let you know, he's a nerd by trade.
Yeah, I can see that.
But he tried to play, like he's the man and he's all hip. But he's a nerd.
All right.
Gary, let me ask you a question. We were just Jade and I were just talking about the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
In your career, have you ever gone through something similar to this? Obviously not a virus or anything, but have you gone through anything where it was kind of like messed with your training, messed with you preparing for the season and getting ready?
No, nothing like this. The thing about us is that when we talk about viruses and things like that, we never experienced nothing like this. So it's just one of those things now where you really have to take it serious,
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like a lot of people just throwing stuff out there and doing what they want to do, but for these kids nowadays, all kinds of things is possible. So
yeah. So do you have any like special advice for guys that are, obviously in Florida we're locked away for the next 30 days. So do you have any advice for, kids that are trying to stay in shape in hopes of getting back for summer ball?
Well, I was telling them last night that to make it to the major leagues is what you do right now. You think going on the baseball field and playing a game and everybody's saying, oh, he had a home run or I struck him out. I always tell my kids, always be on top.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're playing sports, because everybody have these memories forever. I just got a text earlier today. Somebody was explaining to me the home run I hit off him in '86. And so I'd rather be on that side than the other side.
Yeah.
So what I tell him, especially him, when you sleep and somebody else is working, and if you go out there and you fail, and then all of a sudden you knew you were sleeping, how can you be upset about it?
Exactly.
I said, so if you face somebody like me, how are you going to win? You're not going to win. And so I always talk about great, great, and great. Great players can make great players look bad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the most prepared guy is the one that's going to win overall in the long term. Mm-hmm. We all lose battles. That's baseball.
That's it. Yep.
The one that's most prepared is always going to prevail.
Yep. That's good advice, man. That's kind of what I was telling my son too. He's spending a lot of this downtime on Xbox, and I'm like, man, you can get on the Xbox all you want, but like, did you throw? Did you stretch? Did you work out? Did you do some running? Like, everybody else is in the same situation as you, but have you been putting in at least the work that you would be putting in if you were in school? At least that to maintain. If not, since you have all day at home, are you putting in that extra work? So we'll see what he does. I mean, he's starting to put in some time, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I always tell him, I say anybody can just walk into school and make a C.
Yeah.
And everybody can play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But who wants to be the B and A student?
Right.
That's the question.
Right.
Who wants to be I always tell them, You can be a $1 million player. I say y'all always look at $1 million as a lot of money, but you can be a $1 million player. But there's $30 million player and there's $40 million players. Which one you want to be?
Right.
So it's up to you.
Yeah.
I remember being their age, and you're not understanding what's ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can't see what's ahead, then you kind of slack a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. Slack in your workout, you slack in your preparation, you slack in your focus. And then all of a sudden that just dropped you down a notch.
Right.
But if you just relentless in saying that, well, whoever I face and whatever I face in whatever situation I'm in, I'm prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to win.
Yeah.
And that $5 million thinking can turn into a $30 million thinking.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
So you said you mentioned not being able to see ahead. So like, what is something that, like, for you, like, what would you focus on if you were in Jaden's position right now and he's trying to get to? I know the level personally. You know, we've had conversations offline. I know the level that he's trying to get to. I know the things that you have in mind for him. So like, what should he be thinking of in his brain? What should he be seeing inside his mind that is going to help push him, through what's going on right now?
Well, the first thing Jaden should be looking at right now is that he's already intelligent. So his goal should be, what college can I go to and play baseball at the same time and get the highest of education? And if baseball don't work, then I got the highest of education, and I'm gonna make more money than a baseball player gonna make, because I'm gonna make it longer than he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
So the first thing that he should focus on is, let me get into college, get my education. I'm preparing to be the top baseball player, and I'm gonna do both.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of kids can't say that. If you're just not smart, you're just not smart.
Right.
So he has both. He has the genetics, he has the build, he has the speed, he has the power. Now, the thing is that when I'm teaching you things, I don't teach about hitting and trying to hit home runs. I teach about spine, fundamentals, being in your feet,
Mm-hmm.
being able to get your swing off,
Mm-hmm.
all those things. So now you're getting the best teaching. I've
Mm-hmm.
done it. So I'm just telling you what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And so try to repeat what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
You may not be the same player as I am,
right.
but if you know what I know, then you will be a pretty damn good baseball player.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can get your education on top of it. And now you just, now everybody is screaming, looking for Jaden.
Right.
Because Jaden not only is just a baseball player, Jaden is more than a baseball player.
Right. Well-rounded.
Yes.
Absolutely. Man, I appreciate you dropping that knowledge, man. That's good stuff. Guys are gonna really appreciate hearing that insight. I feel like a lot of parents and coaches say the same thing to their kids, but I feel like it goes in one ear and out the other just because of who it's coming from, who the message is coming from. Right. So hopefully, people, players hearing this, coaches hearing this coming from you might, get them motivated during this downtime. Because I know for me, I want to be out watching guys on the field. And so I can only imagine being in Jaden's shoes right now, coming up on his junior year in high school, and he isn't even going to get to play. So it's like, I can only imagine what's going through his head right now, the things that he has to overcome. So, all these kids out here that are, hoping to get back on the field, they can, use this, positive outlook and this positive mentality to, stay in shape and be ready for when the time comes, to get back on the field.
Jaden, he just took it amongst himself to wake up and clean out the garage. And he found tools in there that I bought for him to work on his throwing, work on his release, to get his arm strength up, to work on the bands, the footwork. He found all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so
that's awesome.
I told him we didn't have this stuff. But the one thing that I told him today that they need to start doing every day is playing wiffle ball.
Yeah.
If you get a wiffle ball and you get this thinnest stick with the wiffle ball and learn how to hit that wiffle ball, when you put a bat in your hand, the rest is going to be easy. So
Absolutely.
now he see all the tools that he have around the house. My granddad, my dad never got up out of their seat and said, Or I said, Dad, take me outside and play baseball. That's a want to thing. That's a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be that, why are you going to ask your granddad or your dad to get up and go get in the house to work with you?
Right.
That's just saying, I just want to be in your presence playing sports.
Mm-hmm.
But that ain't getting better. Getting better is when nobody's looking. You're doing the things that nobody wants to do. And those are the guys that's going to be mentally tough and mentally strong long term.
Absolutely. Jaden, I got a couple questions for you. Well, it's one question, but it's two-part. Do you remember your best performance ever in a game and your worst performance ever in a game? And can you tell me what those were? And then I want to ask you a question about it.
I want to say like best would be how it impacted the game overall. Because when I look at like best game, worst game, I don't look at like individual stats. So, like I won't look at it like, oh, I played well or I played bad. It's kind of like how it impacted the game overall. So
okay.
I want to say like just recently we were down by 2 in a school game, and like I remember like moments. So like this is kind of like a moment for me. So we were down by 2, getting closer towards like the latter part of the game. I think it was like the 6th inning, right? So it's the bottom of the 6th inning. We don't put up any runs. We're getting closer to the bottom, or we're getting closer to the bottom of the lineup. We're down by 2. I know that if we don't get these runs, like this game is pretty much going to be slipping out of our hands pretty soon. And I have 2 guys on base. I drive a ball dead center. Tails off to the left. I hit a triple, driving the 2 runs, and then our catcher ends up driving me in for the go ahead. And I want to say like that was like my best performance, because like it's just something that would stick with me, because I don't know, like that it was a different. That was things like that were things that just like stick with you, you know?
Yeah. So what would you say would be your worst performance in a game?
I don't know.
Worst game, worst tournament, worst whatever that you ever participated in.
He can answer that one. He'll give you like a straight go ahead.
Well, that was when you know, my thing is that, you know, when he was growing up, he was hitting home runs for Berkeley Prep.
Mm-hmm.
He was second in home run. He had like 10 home runs, and every home run he hit, and if he looked bad on a certain pitch, like a breaking ball,
mm-hmm.
and he hit a home run on a fastball, I would be in the car with him and telling him that wasn't good.
Now you tell me I suck.
It sucked. See, you hit a home run, but it sucked. The swing sucked. I say, because you're strong, you're big and strong, and you hit the ball out, it sucked. I said, but when you face a upper tier pitcher, that pitcher gonna notice that you look bad on the breaking ball. And
you ain't getting the fastball.
You're not getting that home run pitch.
Nope.
They gave you a home run pitch, and so you hit a home run, great. But when he faced Berkeley Prep again, when he left the school and went to Tampa Prep, and he went back to face them, he was so revved up for the game. He had what did you do? You struck out the first game.
The first at bat.
First at bat. We got guys that I make him face that's throwing 92, 93 miles an hour. Uh-huh. And he's getting 3 hits and taking them deep. You know, all of this stuff. And then you're facing 85 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, now I want to be the guy that hit the home run and this and that. Mm-hmm. So he struck out, and he had a bullet to the second baseman the second time. He got hit by a pitch, stole a base. And then that to me was his worst game, because I always tell him, when you go back and face your team that you left, mm-hmm. you always got to show up, because the light's on now.
Right.
You know, show them that they made a mistake. And he took the football mentality, and he was just overexcited.
I got you.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
And they lost the game 3-2. And I told him, that's a game where you could have been an impact player, mm-hmm. and made up the difference of 2 runs. And I said to him, whenever I show up at the park, I always tell my teammates, I'm good for 2. I'm going to drive in 1 and I'm going to score 1.
Yep.
You see? So now I'm good for 2. Now, if you take that mentality and you good for 2, they win the game.
Yep. That's it. All right. So Jaden, you totally took that to a place that I wasn't expecting, but I like it because I like where your head's at. I like what you're thinking about. You're not thinking about the stats. You're definitely see that's one thing that I've noticed with a lot of kids that I've come in contact with, a lot of players I've come in contact with, they instantly go to the stats, right?
Yeah.
They don't think about, okay, I helped the team win. I didn't go 4 for 4. I went 1 for 4, but my 3 at bats were quality at bats, played good defense, good base running, and I drove in that run at my last at bat after going 0 for 3, and we tie the game, right? So
you can.
But he left out something.
Mm-hmm.
He left out something defensively.
Okay.
The same game that he drove those 2 runs in, he threw out a guy at home plate.
See, there you go.
See, he
You
threw out a
saved that
guy,
run.
which he saved the run.
Yep.
He threw the guy at home plate, and I mean, he threw a bullet, and they was getting ready to be down even more. He threw the guy out, and I remember telling you that. I said, see, this is the part that you're not understanding. You saved the run, and then you drove 2 in. Any college or any scout is going to look at that and say, he this is a player that don't take the offense out on the defense. He separate them.
Right.
So when you go in the outfield, you have to completely zone out and be all about defense, because what happens is a pitcher expect you to be all out because he's up there giving his heart and soul on the mound, and if you're out there half-assing, then he's going to let you know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell them about Major League Baseball. You got some fools out there. If you don't go out there and bust your butt in the outfield, you're going to get in a lot of fights, because these guys expect excellence when they throw the pitch that they want to throw, and you loafing out there because you're mad about your at-bat.
You're supposed to be out there making the catch.
Exactly.
Not worrying about your at-bat.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this question, Jaden. So in regards to the best performance that you had, tell me, like, you came up. Well, I guess you kind of went over it a little bit. You knew that you needed those 2 runs, but like, how did you adjust and react in that moment? Because you said it wasn't like a 4 for 4 game. You had the defensive play, but just like, tell me a little bit more about what was going on through your head and how you kind of prepared yourself for that moment.
So I mean, on a baseball field, like when I feel like I have a connection with guys, because I feel like I'm really close with my teammates at my school, and I have a really strong connection with them. I just felt like I really needed to come through for them, and I don't know, like I was thinking to myself, like, I'm driving this ball as far as possible. Like, honestly speaking, that was the mentality that I was going in. I was thinking to myself, I was like, I'm getting a hit.
Yo, dude, I like that, man, because it's simple. It's a positive. You're thinking positively, right? I can't remember off the top of my head. I can't think of the word, but you're imagining that positive result. You're visualizing. That's what you're doing. You're visualizing what you're going to do. You're not telling yourself, I'm going to go up there, I hope I get a hit. I'm getting this hit. I'm driving these 2 runs in. I'm throwing this guy out at the plate. I'm doing this. I'm not thinking about what I should be doing. I'm actually going out there and doing it. He
actually told me right before I went up to my bat, he goes, because we're down by 2, we're about to go out there for like the last time. And he goes out to me before we go into the field. He was like, you stop these guys this inning, you're going to win this game for us. And that's word for word what he told me. And I was like, I know.
See, the thing is that this is the part of the game that he don't understand about. Your time is coming up next. Mm-hmm. You could fail your first 2 at-bats or your first at-bat or what have you. I told him, anytime men are on base, you hunt the fastball at all times. And I said, because what happens is when men get on base, they start throwing curveballs.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is when you're hunting the fastball, they're going to get behind in the count.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if you come up to the plate, and this is high school baseball, they're going to give you a fastball because they're trying to get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, you jump on the first pitch you see, and you're going to win the battle more than not. And he went up there and he jumped on the first pitch fastball. It came in at about 86 miles an hour. And when I tell you he smoked this ball, he smoked it.
Yeah.
And when he got to third, I was so happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in the dugout yelling and screaming, get the third.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the third, and now the team is basically his. Like I told him.
Yeah.
You're the guy that they're looking at and say,
Yeah.
Jaden, carry us.
Yeah.
And you came through. So I understood what he was feeling.
Yeah.
But
That's
then
awesome.
there's a mentality that you have to have.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look at a guy on second. You can't look at a guy on first. You got to look at, I'm hunting a fastball. And if I do what I'm supposed to do with it, those guys are going to be at home plate.
So
My,
go ahead,
sorry.
Jaden. No, go ahead,
I was
Jaden.
gonna say with my team, like I have such like a good feeling with my team. Like it doesn't even make sense. Like I just know that if I do something on the field, everybody else around me is doing something because we all feed off of each other. So I knew that as soon as I was getting that hit, we were winning that game because I knew everybody else around me was coming through.
Yeah. Gary, just to clarify that, you said you're not thinking about the runner on second, runner on first. You're thinking about I'm hunting the fastball. So you right there, what I get from that is you separated yourself from the situation. You took yourself out of a position where you're nervous and you have to do this. I have to get these guys into a situation where you're looking for one thing, one pitch in one spot, and that's all you're focused on.
Yeah, because I've driven in so many runs. I've been in this situation so many times, and I try to tell him the pitcher's in trouble, not you. Anytime a pitcher see a man on third and first, he's more worried about that than you are. So why would you sit here and say we're losing by 2? I got to get this guy on first base home. You forgot about the guy at third base.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you should be thinking is, if I get my pitch, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do with it, and everybody's going to be rewarded. So when it's a 0-0 game and a man on third base and less than 2 outs, your only responsibility, even if his base is loaded, your only responsibility is to get the man from third. You don't have to get the one in from second or first. Your responsibility is get the man home from third. So in Jaden's situation, his thought process, the only responsibility I have is to get the man at third home. The next guy's supposed to get the next guy in.
Yeah.
That's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
But if you just take all the emotions out of it, because think about it, you're playing in front of 50,000 people in the major league. They're going to be going crazy because they want it all done at the same time. So what you have to do is remove yourself from fan atmosphere.
Yeah.
And say to myself, I got a job to do. Get this man in from third. But I'm going to hunt the fastball, and I'm going to do what I do. If I hit home runs, you throw me a fastball, I'm going to hit a home run. And I'm going to be the hero. But if they throw me a breaking ball or a fastball in a location that I have to drive the ball to the opposite field, I'm going to do that. The crowd is not going to be quiet if you drove in the man from third and you still losing 3-2. So it's the next guy's responsibility to do it. It just so happened he came through in that situation.
Yeah. I like that, man, where you said you have to remove yourself from the fan atmosphere. I feel like that can apply in life. It can apply in business. It can apply in school. It can apply in relationships. If you're looking at everything from the standpoint of how other people are going to react, you've already lost. You've already given up the battle.
Part. That's the mental part. And he's so young right now, he don't understand the mental part. But he's understanding it because I'm pouncing it in his brain every day. And so whether he like it or not, I always tell him, you got to learn how to control your emotions. I don't care what the situation is. Your emotion has to be on the pitcher. It's you against the pitcher. It's not the situation. It's you against the pitcher.
Yeah.
So if I played at Yankee Stadium, you know how demanding they are every time you come up to the plate. And if I got emotional about every situation, I'll be an emotional wreck.
Yeah.
So I have to concentrate on my job. My job is when it's time for me to drive in a run, I focus on that run. I drive in 3 runs. I hit a 3-run homer. But my responsibility is that one guy.
Yeah. That's cool. All right. So Jaden, the second part of that question, from your worst experience or your worst performance where you went against your old team and struck out, lined out, whatever. So tell me, what did you learn from that experience?
Just stay within myself. Like, just don't try to do too much, because I feel like whenever I'm excited for a game because I felt really excited going into the game. And I never really understood it until then because my dad would always tell me, he was like, oh, you're kind of freezing up. You're freezing up. And I was like, I don't freeze. Like, I'm getting excited. I'm not nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And he would tell me, he's like, no, it's not the fact that you're nervous. It's not the fact that you're scared. It's the fact that you're so like excited that you want to do something so badly that it's going to take you out of your element. It's going to take you out of your swing. It's going to break down. So it took me a really long time to figure that out because I never really got nervous before a game. It was just more like a good nervous, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
I'll tell you what it is. See, he don't understand what it is because he's 17. When you play a baseball game, just like me, every single day I have a routine.
Okay.
So what you do is you come up with a routine, and if something breaks that routine, it don't mess with you mentally. So if something happens bad, you're the one that, like, you're sitting there like, I didn't expect that. But if you're prepared going into the situation, whatever the situation is, you just adjust to it.
Right.
And so what he's not understanding is when I'm in a situation like that, I want to do well. It's anxiety. That's what it is. It's anxiety. Every ball player has anxiety before a baseball game. The reason you have anxiety before a baseball game and you have to learn how to control it is because of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen today, but I know I prepared for this situation, and I've lived it out, and I saw it. So when it don't happen, you're the one that's most surprised because you thought it out before it happened.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get into the prospect dugout element real quick. I want to ask you just a couple questions, and then we'll kind of wrap up the podcast. So let me ask you this: do you think social media has had a positive or a negative impact on your life on and off the field?
Social media, I would say that it would have a positive effect because I don't really go on social media per se all too much. But what I do use it for is as a recruiting tool. So everything I post on my social medias, anything that I put out like publicly, is going to be things that are going to promote me playing baseball. It's going to promote me doing what I love. So
okay, so
it's been positive for me.
Yeah, so you use it as a recruiting tool. So do you spend any time? So you said you don't go on social media, but when I get what you mean by that, you're not just sitting there surfing through social. But when you do go on social media, because obviously you have Instagram. That's how we connected. That's how we met, was through Instagram. Are you following other athletes on there? Have you become friends with an athlete through Instagram first, and then met them in person, like at a game or something like that?
I want to say it's kind of like the flip. So I'll meet people in different showcases, like other events that I've played in, and we'll kind of stay connected through Instagram. We'll kind of check in on each other, see how we're doing. So it's been a good tool to kind of connect with people.
Yeah.
And so I'd say it's flipped.
Okay. No, that's cool. I get that. That makes sense. I mean, you can connect, you can stay in contact with guys, follow what they're doing. It's a motivational tool. If you're following the right guys, if they're doing the right things, it can actually help drive you to say, okay, I'm not doing it to be like him. He's inspiring me to work harder. He's inspiring me to go out and, throw into, like you were telling me earlier, you don't have a place to long toss other than throwing into a net. So like seeing somebody do that on social media, dude, I should be doing that. I can do that. If he's doing it with the limited amount of tools that he has, I'm going to go ahead and do it. No, so I get that. That's cool. With everything that's going on now with coronavirus, things are shutting down, facilities, gyms, all that stuff. Do you think that in the next, 30 days in Florida, obviously with everything, being homebound, but in the next 30 days and then beyond the rest of this year, do you think that you're going to approach social media any differently in terms of promoting yourself, in terms of getting yourself out there? Are you going to do it more since there's less opportunity in person right now?
Oh, definitely. Me and my brothers have been brainstorming on different ways that we can try to get exposure within this 30-day period or however long this lasts.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll definitely be updating people on just our daily routine, things that we're doing on the off season to kind of stay in tune for the season. So we'll be posting things like that pretty soon.
Okay. All right. I got 3 questions for you and then we'll wrap it up. Three quick ones. So you're gonna just tell me. You got 5 seconds to tell me the answer. Who's your all-time favorite Major League Baseball player besides your dad?
Okay, I was gonna say because he's Josh Donaldson. I want to say Josh Donaldson.
Who's your godfather?
Okay, Barry Bonds, but I want to say Josh Donaldson.
Yes, okay, so you want to say Barry Bonds, but you're saying Josh Donaldson. Why are you picking Josh Donaldson?
He's just. I've had an opportunity to hit with him. He played on the Braves for a little bit, and that's my all-time favorite team. I'm kind of upset that he got traded. But he's just a really nice guy. I really like to be around him, and he's just motivation for me. So definitely Josh Donaldson.
Okay. Next question. What is your all-time Major League Baseball lineup? Not like 1 through 9, but like position-wise. So we'll start with pitcher, and we'll run through all the positions. So who's your all-time? Who's in your all-time lineup for pitcher?
Can it be retired players or
anybody from the time baseball started?
Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens. All right. Who you got at catcher?
Your uncle ain't gonna be happy about
that. I thought you said besides family.
Doc ain't gonna be happy.
You said besides family.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So Roger Clemens. All right. What about catcher?
Who would you say?
No, he asked you.
I'm asking you.
Buster Posey.
Okay. Who we got at first base?
I want to say Freddie Freeman just because I like the Braves.
Okay. Second base.
Second base, Jeter.
Second base.
Sorry, I thought you said shortstop. I don't know. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like this.
I got you.
Who would I pick for second base?
Yeah, you.
Second base. That one's a hard one. I'm gonna pass and go back to it.
Okay, shortstop.
Shortstop, Jeter.
Third base.
Third base, Josh Donaldson.
All right, now you got a chance to redeem yourself. Who you got for left field?
Left field. Well, I can't say you. Left field. Can I move guys around?
Sure. This is your podcast
Bonds,
today.
I'll say Barry Bonds because he's kind of getting pissed off at me.
All right, who you got in center?
Willie Mays.
Right field.
Right field. I will say Mookie Betts.
Okay. Can we get back to second base? Can you think of your all-time second baseman?
Second baseman. I'm drawing like a huge blank for second base right now because I don't really have like an all-time favorite second baseman.
That's cool.
I would say, yeah, I'll go Robinson Cano then.
Okay, I like it. All right, final question, and then we'll wrap up. What are your thoughts on the 2020 MLB season, man? You think they're going to pick back up? You think it's going to get started?
Baseball is money, so I think they're definitely going to get back started pretty soon.
I like it. Jaden, dude, I appreciate your time. Gary, thanks for stopping in.
All right,
it's been real. It's been a good experience hearing some knowledge drop from your dad. And then kind of just hearing you. You sound a little bit. I mean, I know he was dogging you for being young, but you know the words that you're saying, the things that you're saying, you sound a little bit more mature than a lot of guys. So props to you on that. On being strong on the mental side. And yes, thank you for being on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast real quick. Just keep your face on the camera so we got something pretty to look at real quick.
That's all you.
So this was episode 3 with Jaden Sheffield, guest appearance by his dad, Hall of Famer Gary Sheffield. Just a quick little wrap up with Prospect Dugout. If you don't have the Prospect Dugout app, go to our Instagram page and click the link in our bio. Start your recruiting profile today. Just like Jaden was saying, he uses social media for recruiting. That's what Prospect Dugout is about. If you want your video posted on Prospect Dugout Instagram, shoot us an email. The email's in the Instagram profile. If you want to create your own recruiting profile, the link is in our Instagram profile for you to download the free app. We do have our pro tryouts coming up. We're waiting to announce announce the reschedule date for that as soon as Major League Baseball announces their start date. Jaden, I wanted to tell you also, I forgot to tell you, once everything gets back going with summer ball and everything, I'm doing a free high school showcase tournament. So You're definitely going to be there. It's going to be very, very limited. It's just going to be some guys that I know they're going to come out, and we're going to put on a show, and we're going to get some exposure for you guys. If anybody's listening, watching, that you own a facility, that you have a facility, you have teams or whatever, you want to be a certified instructor, certified facility, hit me up on my personal at Hardy02 on Instagram. We'll talk about that. And then finally follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, MySpace, everything else that's out there, TikTok especially. But yeah, Prospect Dugout podcast episode 3 was amazing. Jaden Sheffield, Gary Sheffield, guest appearance. Jaden, thanks so much, man. We'll be in touch. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, man.